The White House is certainly talking a tough game as far as Iran is concerned, but the Obama administration has yet to pull the trigger on one of the harshest sanctions available. That would be targeting Iran's central bank. Our Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr has more on what's going on. Barbara, what's the latest on this very sensitive issue?
Well, look, Wolf, you know, the White House has always said that military action would be one of the last options against Iran. They want to go for sanctions, but these kinds of sanctions are now becoming a big problem. The U.S. has long used sanctions to try to stop Iran's cash flow for financing its nuclear efforts and support for terrorism. But now the administration is saying not so fast to a tough new bipartisan sanctions proposal from Congress. The idea? Target Iran's central bank by cutting off U.S. banking with any foreign banks that bank with the Iranians. Much of the banking with Iran is done to pay for Iranian oil. The administration is considering action against Iran's central bank, but officials warn the congressional proposal could be a bad idea in today's fragile economy.
It is a very, very powerful threat. It is a threat to essentially for the commercial banks to end their ability to transact in the dollar and their ability really to function as major international financial institutions.
According to OPEC, Iran exports about 2.5 million barrels a day of crude oil, earning it more than $70 billion a year. Countries around the world buying Iranian oil pay for it through transactions conducted by the Central Bank of Iran. For those countries,
it would say to them that if they continue to process oil transactions with the Central Bank of Iran, their access to the United States can be terminated.
Such a sanction could trim world oil supplies and cut Iran's ability to sell oil to European allies. But that too could backfire. Western economies would be hurt by the cost of higher oil prices in reaction to less supplies. Plus, those higher prices,
which would mean that Iran would in fact have more money to fuel its nuclear ambitions, not less.
We don't want to create a situation where we spook oil markets, we drive up the price, and we inadvertently enriched Ali Khamenei and the regime, who would enjoy a massive windfall if that were to happen.
So the administration has a dilemma here. How bad do they want to hurt Iran, but then possibly hurt Americans in the pocketbook in an election year? Wolf?
Tough question, sensitive issue. Thanks very much for that, Barbara.